Hi, I'm Mitchell Ringos. Welcome to Word for Word, where we offer you an in-depth look at some of our interviews with newsmakers from across the Northwest. With just 5 months to go, the call is officially out for volunteers for the 2024 Ontario Winter Games. Organizers say more than 700 people will be needed for one of the largest sporting events in Thunder Bay's history.
So the games are about 5 months away. I guess, how exciting is it?
It's 5 months, but I think from the organizing group perspective, it's like, we've only got 5 months to go, but we're going to get there. I got a great team. They're amazing, and the work will get done. We're excited about it. And just this announcement today to get the community on board in terms of volunteers that we're going to need for this event. Having it out there and letting everybody know that we're February will come soon, sooner than you think. But we have to be ready for everybody and make sure that the athletes are taken well care of when they arrive, and their officials and family and friends, etc. That's our job. That's our job, is to make sure they are looked after, and everybody is on board with that. And the more volunteers we have that are required, the better this event will be.
And again, speaking of the volunteers, how important are volunteers to hosting an event like this?
You cannot do an event like this without volunteers. They are so integral to how everything will work. If you don't have them, I don't know how any event can do what they need to do. So how important is it? It's very important, and we're encouraging all of those people out there who may be interested, please come forward and sign up. We're happy to have you, and we'll take care of you too. So,
is there any doubt that you won't get enough volunteers, or are you confident that they're going to come through?
Well, I think as you know, I've been involved in a few events where volunteers are required, and I've never had or experienced an issue with not having enough volunteers. In fact, sometimes we have more than you need. That's who Thunder Bay is. That's what our community is all about. They're excited about these larger events coming to our town. And they just want to be part of it, part of the success, and show the rest of, in this case, Ontario, but Canada and wherever, that, we can do this in a really, really well way, and we earn everything that we get in terms of accolades, etc. But that's not what it's about. It's not about accolades. It's about us serving the community and serving the athletes that are going to be competing here.
And how impactful will the games be on the community?
Well, you're talking about the economic impact is going to be upwards of $6 million to $7 million. That's incredible. Just the fact that people will be coming here from across Ontario will get to know who we are as a community. Young athletes from 12 to 18 are going to be here. There's opportunities for them to look at the Lakehead University and the college and say, maybe I want to do my education here. There's those opportunities, and we're going to actively promote some of those ideas and thoughts to the athletes and the family and friends, right? You never know. But that's why it's important, because when people come and see what we have here, and it's a beautiful community, they may be thinking about, well, maybe we should be moving to Thunder Bay and, and experiencing what everybody else is experiencing.
Ontario's Minister of Mines paid a visit to the city this week. He delivered a speech at the Sencan Resource Expo, in which he discussed Thunder Bay's important role in the sector. The annual networking event has now wrapped up for the year.
And here we are today at the luncheon for the last day of the CEN, and we heard some conversations about Ontario and what mining means to the community. Could you share exactly what kind of the priorities you took from CEN were?
Oh, really and truly, I think the first thing I want to say is the sense of passion and optimism. There's a real buzz in Thunder Bay around this conference, and that's because they realize that northwestern Ontario and the hub of mining that Thunder Bay are the center of involved in the center of the EV revolution that's happening right here in Ontario and globally, because we've got the future fuels of tomorrow right here in Thunder Bay. You heard me talk about the fact that I believe Thunder Bay was going to be 200,000 people, and I think that's been a given. You take a look at the number of the projects that are being explored and developed right here in the region. Despite the, I mean, and just when we're talking about mining, but take a look at the agricultural potential. Take a look at where you are at the head of the seaway. Take a look at how close you are to the U.S. Thunder Bay has got nothing but a golden future in every aspect of your economy. The government is fully committed to the development of the critical minerals. They know how important it is to secure the supply chain of critical minerals. The government is fully aware of the geopolitical tensions in the world, and Thunder Bay is an important community, as all communities in Ontario are, Southern Ontario, Indigenous communities, to make it happen. The future starts with mining here in Thunder Bay.
And with close to about 1% of the population in Thunder Bay working in the mining industry and their families being correlated to the industry by extension, there clearly is quite a bit of support here. That said, I heard you mentioning trying to limit the amount of red tape engaged in, and there might be some concerns over that language. Would you have anything to comment on with respect to that?
No. Our bill is 71. It's the Building More Mines Act, and what we're doing, and again, as I said, it's an incredibly important piece of legislation. It doesn't impact anything. There's not a word changed with Ontario's world-class environmental regulations, nor the duty consult. We're building out those regulations now as we speak. And you heard me say that 17 years to permitted mining is not acceptable. And quite frankly, we will, the whole mission is to make the bureaucracy of mining work at the pace of business.
A few years ago, when Doug Ford was here in Thunder Bay, I believe it was when he was running for the leadership of the party, he had mentioned that he'd be getting on a bulldozer himself to go up to the Ring of Fire. Can you comment on the progress of that deposit or lack thereof?
Well, there's three. Obviously the province is committed to the region. We've got $1 billion that's invested, but not just in mining. But you're talking about broadband. You're talking about transmission lines. We're building the electric transmission corridor as well, and there was actually nothing happening until the Premier and the provincial government said that this is important for Ontario and, quite frankly, the globe to develop this area. And that's where it started. Right now we've got 3 environmental assessments on the go, and they're being headed by the Indigenous communities. And that's, as you heard me speak, that's exactly what should be happening.
Wekidong Lodge, a local nonprofit that helps people coming in from remote First Nations access medical care, is trying to fund a major expansion. It enlisted the help of 7-time Juno Award winner to help drum up support at a fundraising barbecue.
There's definitely more of a turnout, and this year it's great that we have been able to involve the private enterprise sector that's really come out to support Wekidong. It was really heartwarming this morning to hear of all the people that have raised funds for us. I think it will go a long way towards challenging that nickname, terrible nickname that Thunder Bay was given a few years back, the hate crime capital of Canada. I'm here to say that needs to be challenged with the support we're receiving. It's heartwarming.
That's really good to hear. And you guys are hoping to raise, well, you have to raise 35% of the $45 million, I believe that it was.
You're so right.
Now, what kind of steps do you think you guys need to make going forward? Obviously, something like this is great, but down the road, you even said in the email you sent us that it's going to take a while, and it's a long-term thing. Can you just elaborate on that?
Well, we had a positive meeting yesterday with Indigenous Services Canada representative who steered us in the direction of some funding that we should access to come up with that down payment. And then, of course, the deputy mayor of the city also talked to me about some funding that may be available locally that we could possibly access. So I think once we get started, we're gonna be able to raise that down payment. I'm confident.
And then any final thoughts, anything you'd like to say to, I know you guys are trying to get funding from the government, trying to help them out with their hotel costs, and that's the plan right now. Is there anything that you'd like to say and add just that you want to get off your chest?
Well, nothing I want to get off my chest, but what I do want the general public to know is that by doing this expansion, we're actually going to save taxpayers money, because it's going to be much less costly to house them in our lodge than it is in a hotel. So we will end up saving the government money and saving your tax dollars. So we desperately need your support.
Well, I grew up in an environment very similar to this, in that we had to do the transient thing to get healthcare services, to go to spaces, to get our healthcare services where we feel safe and comfortable by us, for us. I think lodges like this are very critical for the healing and recovery of all of our people when they need to seek out healthcare.
And just moving forward, are there any ways that you've been trying to get the word out there and trying to help with the fundraising and accumulate their 35% of $45 million?
This is our first time here to do the event with them. We haven't heard any more aside from being here and being a part of this event today. So moving forward, absolutely we can. But beyond this, we haven't received any other information. So.
Right. And then any final closing thoughts about the event itself? Is there anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, well, thank you always for the opportunity, and invite anyone who can to contribute and to share and to come and see why lodges like this, events like this, gatherings like this, these kinds of places are so critical to our health and our health care. So please feel free, reach out and make those donations, because they do matter.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
The excitement is building for Saturday's Wake the Giant Music Festival. Dana's Franklin Cromartie students were at the marina helping to set up. That was one of the challenges they undertook as part of the Amazing Race style event to help them learn more about Thunder Bay.
Can you talk a bit about the DFC's Amazing Race event that's happening today?
Yeah, so we do this event every year. It's a great way for our students to learn a whole bunch of different transit routes and meet some businesses and organizations throughout the city. They also get comfortable with their classmates, and it's just an overall really fun day for them to participate in.
Is it essentially their first big outing as students to DFC to come travel the city?
Yeah, most of them. Some of them it's their first time out, so this will be their first big journey throughout Thunder Bay utilizing city transit.
And what are some of the obstacles that they would have to do, or I guess tasks?
Yeah, so we've set up a whole bunch of different challenges with different businesses throughout the city. So some of those being the Kinsman Center, Mario's Bowling, Onwa, Yes Employment. We try to partner with places that we really want them to know about and get them familiar with those places.
Have you gotten any feedback from students from past years or during the event that it's been helping them?
Yeah, I think so. Last year we got a whole bunch of good feedback that students learned different bus routes and felt a little more comfortable traveling around town.
Do you have anything else you wanted to add?
We're just happy that we have a nice pizza lunch here in the middle and some refreshments, water for them to refuel and keep going for the rest of the day.
The fall season marks the start of the United Way of Thunder Bay's annual fundraising campaign. The launch event highlighted last year's donations and contributions. We're looking forward to new opportunities and ways to give back.
What about the food drive this weekend and how important it's going to be, this giant food drive? You've got to be excited.
Well, this is really very timely because we came through the summer in really bad shape because donations were down both monetarily and food coming in through the door. And with the increased need, we could not meet all of the demands. There were certain expectations of our members. We did fairly well through the pandemic with a lot of federal and provincial help, and people stepped up. But now that the pandemic is gone, we really feeling the pinch. So when this was proposed, this coming together of service groups for the local love, this really meant, I'm a Rotarian myself, and so for me service is what it's all about. So the thought of having all these service clubs working collaboratively together for a single cause really is special to me.
Wilker, can you talk about that need and what it is you're hoping that this drive can do for food banks in the area?
Well, what's happening is we're not able to even meet the basic hamper needs, because we're missing so many things. And because of because the food's not coming in, or the corporate donations are not available nationally or provincially, we're feeling the pinch and we're having to go out and buy. And we all know what food prices are like. They're through the roof. And so for us to be able to meet all of the needs, we have sort of a basic hamper construction. It may not be glamorous, but it is an emergency supply, and we can't even do that. The proteins, the vegetables, the fruits, we're having issues. So this food drive with collecting non-perishables or even perishables will give us a chance to be able for the next little while meet the basic hamper needs.
You mentioned some stats there, and you said they don't even begin to sort of collect what's going on here in Thunder Bay.
No, we're finding that, yes, because we collect statistics based on Feed Ontario's requirements, but there are a lot of organizations and individuals that don't get recorded, don't get captured. And also the regional flair. We are a hub for the region. A lot of people are coming to Thunder Bay for medical or shopping or living conditions or opportunities for employment. So we're seeing a lot of people. So where we might capture a number of, maximum of 5,000, I think we're really at the 10,000 plus range that we're serving in this immediate Thunder Bay district. So we're looking in really bad shape.
Can you talk a little bit about then how people can take part in this event this week and culminating on Saturday?
Well, the beauty of it is they've done a fabulous job. The service clubs have done a great job of connecting with all the retail stores. So when you go shopping this weekend, on Saturday, you'll find them donate generously, buy a few extra things. They'll have a list of things, the most needed items, and they will let you, can go in there and drop that off. There's also a couple of places where they have arranged for the libraries, the fire station. There are places where you can drop off, throughout the rest of the week.
And what are those most needed items? What are we looking for?
Well, we're looking for the high protein. So peanut butter may not be a school item, but 90% of the individuals, they love peanut butter, or the soups. We had a great concept here at the United Way breakfast where the soups were on the table. Yeah, Campbell's soups or stews, canned meats always are really important because of the high value protein, juices. There are things that you would eat, make an easy meal, because remember, some of our people, they're homeless, or they don't have the microwaves and ovens and things, so we like when you provide sort of basic foods. Yes, pasta is always high on the list, pasta sauce.
And then let's just switch gears slightly and talk a little bit about the United Way campaign. A bit of a focus on food security here this year, and the importance of the United Way to that whole picture.
Well, I think the United Way was a galvanizing organization that, in our own organization, we've been working with them for years, but they also represent other organizations like Our Kids Counts and Evergreen. We support them as well, but they brought them all to the United Way table, and I think by focusing on the Dewdrop and the other feeding programs that are also connected to the United Way, it brings this local love back into focus as a collaborative engine that we are working together, because we are stronger together. We cannot do this on our own. None of those organizations or United Way can do this without working as a team.
Thanks for joining us for today's edition of Word for Word. We'll be back tomorrow with more interviews from across the Northwest.